I did this one at Stonehenge the other day, and it says like people did, so it's quite like it. Existence is resistance when you run counter to the grain. If you're one of the people who sees that grain runs towards a tragic end, a life of truth is protest against the modern age where the post-truth fake news tries to convince you it's more than the flu. Existence is resistance. It's more effective than a fight. We stalled a multi-billion-pound machine by living on the right side. A life of song can save us from the long, slow death that occurs by getting chipped away and paid a small wage for someone else's gain. Existence is resistance, but it will come with its own stripes. You may be forced to speak to the police a little more than you would like, but doing what is right means it's easy to sleep at night. Existence is resistance. You can do it every day. When someone tells you how to live, politely tell them no.
Something going around, you know?
They can't make sugar. But trees make sugar.
How long have you been playing?
Most of my life, about 30 years.
Wow.
Want to see action now and a citizens' assembly. On the third day of Christmas is what we want to see. Climate truth action now and a citizens' assembly. On the fourth day of Christmas is what we want to see. Empathy and peace, climate truth action now and a citizens' assembly. On the fifth day of Christmas is what we want to see. Seas plastic free. Empathy and peace, climate truth action now and a citizens' assembly. On the sixth day of Christmas is what we want to see. Breathable air, seas plastic free. Empathy and peace, climate truth action now and a citizens' assembly. On the seventh day of Christmas is what we want to see. Cleaner oceans, breathable air, seas plastic free. Empathy and peace, climate truth action now and a citizens' assembly. On the eighth day of Christmas is what we want to see. A ban on fracking, cleaner oceans, breathable air, seas plastic free. Empathy and peace, climate truth action now and a citizens' assembly. On the ninth day of Christmas is what we want to see. No more pollution, a ban on fracking, cleaner oceans, breathable air, seas plastic free. Empathy and peace, climate truth action now and a citizens' assembly. On the 10th day of Christmas is what we want to see. Oil-free beaches, no more pollution, a ban on fracking, cleaner oceans, breathable air, seas plastic free. Empathy and peace, climate truth action now and the citizens' assembly. On the 11th day of Christmas is what we want to see. Less fossil fuels, oil-free beaches, pollution ban on plastic, cleaner oceans, breathable air, seas plastic free. Come on. Empathy and peace, climate truth and the citizens' assembly. On the 12th day of Christmas is what we want to see. Bold carbon targets, less fossil fuels, oil-free beaches, no more pollution, a ban on fracking, cleaner oceans, breathable air, seas plastic free. Empathy and peace, climate truth action now and a citizens' assembly.
Hey!
Ecocide is suicide, by any other name, burning the foundations of our ivory towers. Ecocide is suicide on a global scale, burning through the soil and poisoning the streams. Ecocide is suicide over many years, starting with anything we failed to utilise. Ecocide is suicide, decided by few for all, the madness of believing that money can fix the earth. Ecocide is suicide, not just for bees, for us, and almost all the creatures with their backs to the sun. Ecocide is suicide, think it through, it's true. The next financial quarter doesn't matter if you can't grow food. Ecocide is suicide, I'll say it till I'm hoarse, I'll shout from street corners until we change course. Ecocide is genocide, it's murder with intent, the violation of landscapes and violence disguised as progress. Ecocide is genocide, and with no doubt it's a crime that is committed and defended by those who hold the cards. Ecocide is simple. It happens every day with every field and forest that we scrape away. Ecocide is simple and slowly at first. The buzz of spring begins to need strained ears to hear. Species across the globe begin to disappear. Millions of generations of life and harmony destroyed in mere moments. by mechanised industry.
Something.
More people need to hear that.
So, HS2, for anyone who doesn't know, is currently about £1 billion a mile. Hey, bit of rough maths, but yeah, £1 billion a mile. I'll let that sink in. Without a calculator, I'm pretty sure you could. Pave the way in silver blocks 6 inches thick, engraved by master craftsmen and laid on a goose feather bed. You could have a fountain of wine at every single village between Birmingham and London, but rather than gift us our yellow brick road, we're going to save you 20 minutes a day, pay a few people millions and burn down our oldest forest. £1 billion a mile, walk that then, come tell me, and what you think you could do to make that mile better. Would you steal people's land, fence it off and kill the bats? Would you rip up all the soil and move it round in dumper trucks? With £1 billion a mile, what do you think you could do? You could permeate the water tables that have fed us 10,000 years. You could desecrate the graveyards, commit violence against the plebs, rewrite all the laws and fill your pockets deep. You can promise anything. Unicorn rides to the moon, hire an army of black-clad goons to beat hippies out of trees. With £1 billion a mile, what can we do? We can make 2 billion. We'll call it HS2. We'll write a dodgy contract, get it signed by someone posh, max out all the overtime and overrun the costs, leave them no other options, make them throw good money after bad. We can get the money and grab the land. £1 billion a mile will make you richer than God. You can hide it all in bank accounts and watch those numbers swell. Or, if you would, entertain another idea. You could just give it away to the people that really need it. Give nature a bit of a break and pay, let's say, everyone's wages around 2/3 for a year-long holiday. You could reopen all the libraries, give milk back to the kids, or a soy alternative if that's their parents' thing. You could reopen homeless shelters that have recently disappeared. You could actually run some transport to those villages isolated by austerity and economics when we bailed out the banks and kicked that massive bubble down to a time that's now. £1 billion a mile is £20 notes, all stacked on their thin side in 2 long, neat rows, and still enough left over to power us by the sun and do our part to part our way from the oil that's done us no good. We could feed all the starving children in every corner of the world, maybe not forever, but certainly for a week. £1 billion a mile, measure that by the inch. It's a long way over what I make in a year, and honestly, I do fine. I'm warm, I'm fed, I've water to drink and clothes on my bed. With £1 billion, I can sufficiently sort around 1,000 people to properly ensure that they don't fall into the depression and stress the financial system places on the people. £1 billion a mile, we could clean up all our seas, clean up all the plastic and save all the bees. With £1 billion a mile, I could save our ancient wood, strike balance between food and fallow, commerce and calm places, and grow the things we need without killing off the ground, because currently that's not how we do it. £1 billion a mile, some thought, and without greed, we could make almost everyone happy. Some people are never pleased. This fucking golden railway that I presume is going to be free, it isn't worth the money, and it certainly isn't worth the grief.
Yeah. Well done. All right. The end reserve. Selling records. Yeah.
Fusion, I don't need